The U.S. begins joint military exercises in western Ukraine today. The annual training operation is held between Washington and its allies. CNN's Reza Sayah joins us now live from the area where these exercises are taking place. And Reza, this is the first deployment of U.S. personnel to Ukraine since this crisis began, correct?
Yeah, Natalie, and essentially over the next couple of weeks here in western Ukraine, NATO is going to be flexing its muscles at Moscow, telling Russia that look at our alliance and look how far our military might can reach. We are in Yavoriv, Ukraine, a town that's just about 20 kilometers east of the Ukraine-Polish border. This is where the NATO exercises are going to take place for the next couple of weeks, beginning with today's opening ceremony that just wrapped up about a few minutes ago. These exercises, according to NATO, are designed to promote security and stability in the region and to help Ukraine work better with NATO and its allied forces. This is an annual event, but obviously this time it falls during a very sensitive time. Of course, 1,000 kilometers away from where we are is an unfolding conflict where on one side you have pro-Russian rebels fighting against European-backed Ukrainian forces. It's perhaps the worst crisis Europe has seen since World War II, and that's why many critics of this event say this is perhaps not the best time to hold these NATO exercises, and that includes Moscow, who's already suggested that this is a provocation and an event that's going to fuel the tensions in the conflict in eastern Ukraine. Nevertheless, these exercises are going to move forward. For the next couple of weeks, you're going to have roughly 1,300 soldiers here from 14 NATO member states, including the U.S., U.K., Canada, Spain. The 500 Ukrainian soldiers are going to be taking part in these exercises, too, and they're going to do what they can to simulate a conflict zone. They're going to do a variety of exercises, and we're going to see in the coming days how Moscow is going to react.
Yes,
Natalie?
It'll be interesting to see what they say about this. All sides saying a military option to end this isn't the answer. But all the while, Reza, fighting continues. In fact, latest reports out of Donetsk are that yet again civilians caught in the middle and civilians have been killed. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Natalie, fierce fighting in Donetsk centered around the airport over the past several days. And according to reports, several civilians were hit and killed yesterday. This is an airport that both sides in this conflict want badly. And despite a fragile ceasefire that's supposed to be in place, these two sides are going after this airport. We were just there a couple of days ago, and we heard heavy shelling, heavy artillery fire. Again, both sides targeting this airport and certainly jeopardizing this ceasefire. What we can tell you is that there's potentially this could be just an isolated conflict for this airport. We're not seeing widespread fighting throughout the rest of the conflict zone, but certainly fierce fighting centered around the airport here in Donetsk, and once again something that puts the fragile ceasefire in eastern Ukraine in jeopardy. Natalie.
All right, thanks so much. Reza Sayah following these developments there in western Ukraine and following the fighting in eastern Ukraine. Thank you, Reza. Well, a North Korean court has